And as the price goes up, more and more miners will want to reap the rewards because it can be potentially very lucrative, right? We've seen the price of Bitcoin rise wildly this year.
Welcome back to Investment Tribe, where you've subscribed because you want to learn all about cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and other digital assets. Don't forget to leave us a thumbs up and enable the notifications so you'll be alerted whenever we post a new video. In this video, we will talk about one effect of Bitcoin that is not related to the economy. It's the criticisms against Bitcoin's contribution to global energy consumption, which leads to climate change. We will look at the facts and the statistics. Hopefully, you can all have a conclusion by the end of this video. Ever since Bitcoin started, there are so many criticisms that get thrown around like its reliability and its security. But one criticism that is not that straightforward is that its effect on the environment. And it's a big one, because ever since the concept of climate change was introduced to the public, there's been several advancements made by the technology sector to reduce the consumption of energy. So it seems that Bitcoin is undoing all of this work. Did you ever see that headline where the company Tesla, who previously accepted Bitcoin as a payment for their cars, backpedaled and acted like they never said it? The main reason for that is that Elon Musk became concerned about Bitcoin's high energy consumption. Makes sense. They're the main proponent for electric cars, so protecting the environment is their main goal. But is it really that bad? To understand, let me explain first as to why this came to fruition. As we discussed before in another video, Bitcoin uses what it's called the proof-of-work method, where validators of transactions or miners compete in solving mathematical equations, and whoever's the first one to complete it will get the reward. So you need to have a powerful computer to compete, and that usually requires high amounts of electricity because it needs to run 24/7. This is the method used by Bitcoin ever since their humble beginnings to process transactions and secure the network. And here's the kicker. Since there are so many competitors doing the same work, yet only one gets rewarded, it seems like a huge amount of energy is wasted every time. So how much energy does Bitcoin actually consume? According to the Cambridge Center of Alternative Finance, it is estimated to be consuming a total of 150 terawatt-hours annually. It is comparable to the total energy consumed by relatively small nations like Sweden or Malaysia in a year. Even Bill Gates weighed on this and bashed Bitcoin for its excessive carbon footprint and said that Bitcoin uses more electricity per transaction than any other method known to mankind. So to give you an idea of how much carbon footprint Bitcoin leaves per transaction, it is estimated by digi-economists that one Bitcoin transaction is equivalent to 735 Visa transactions, or 55,280 hours of watching YouTube videos. Bitcoin consumes about 0.55% of the global electricity consumption. So if you're presented with these statistics and you care for the environment, then you will surely join the protests against Bitcoin. After all, there are already so many alternatives that use much less energy per transaction. New cryptocurrencies employ what it's called the proof-of-stake method, where there is only one chosen to validate a transaction. There are no more competitions to be the first. You just need to stake some of your coins and hope that you get chosen. That's a much better alternative than proof of work, right? Well, probably. But here's the thing. According to CCAF, 39% of the total Bitcoin miners use energy-efficient devices and renewable energies like methane gas, hydro, solar, and wind power. Given that, we can now really see the main argument. What they're really saying is that Bitcoin might not be worth it to use this amount of energy. Now, the topic turns into the future of Bitcoin. Proponents of the coin will tell you that this amount of energy consumed is a fair trade-off, since it will give us a borderless and global monetary network that has the potential to give people a fighting chance at economic preservation in return. In actuality, Bitcoin's energy consumption is not that high when compared to the alternatives, the central and traditional banking, and the gold industry. In 2020, the global energy consumed by the gold industry to mine and refine gold was estimated to be 265 terawatts-hours, much bigger than Bitcoin. Not to mention, actual gold mining is labor-intensive, exploitative, and far more dangerous. But we don't see protests against shutting down gold mining operations, right? Because it is a much older industry. That's why it doesn't enter the environmentalists' radar, whereas Bitcoin is newer and more popular. Even with traditional banking, Bitcoin can stand a chance. This industry requires physical banks, ATMs working 24/7, digital securities that need constant updating against hackers, and the manufacturing of physical banknotes and coins. Another industry that doesn't get the same criticisms from the environmental sector is the US fiat dollar. Since 1975, the petrodollar system ties all oil exports to US dollars as the settlement currency. So if you think about it, Bitcoin can even be the better choice environmentally speaking. Also, this talk about Bitcoin's energy consumption can be beneficial in the end, because developers are forced to do something about this problem since they are under so much public scrutiny over the years. That's why Bitcoin now incentivizes miners to use the cheapest sources of energy possible. This drives the development of the most efficient, cleanest, and safest green energy. In a way, Bitcoin can be the main force that deploys more solar and wind generation capacity and lead to an abundant clean energy future. Let me elaborate even further. The main thing about Bitcoin mining is that it's geographically independent, meaning you can set up mining centers anywhere in the world. So miners, through this incentive, will look for the cheapest energy in the world and do the mining there. So the challenge now is to use solar and wind energy's full potential because today, we are still reliant on fossil fuels as the main energy source. Bitcoin mining might be the secret key to unlocking this full power of solar and wind energies. They can force the immediate construction of solar and wind farms by incentivizing energy producers. Right now, these producers are somewhat discouraged to build these farms because the total energy produced cannot pay for their construction. So if these mining companies can just pay up the cost of construction, then they do not have to worry about the return of investment anymore. Also, these miners can purchase the energy from the farms directly, and they do not need to connect to the main grid. So producers can immediately make money instead of waiting for the government and private electric companies. Wasted energy will also be minimal, since the transfer from substations to substations would be eliminated. Other examples are the use of flared natural gases, which is a byproduct of extracting oil to mine Bitcoin, and hydro energy. There are two provinces in China, Sichuan and Yunnan, that Bitcoin miners can take advantage of during the wet season. These energies are currently wasted, so miners can use this for their operations as well, since, as I said, it can be anywhere in the world. So miners can look for other energies anywhere that are currently just being wasted and use those. This is the thing that makes Bitcoin the secret key to unlocking the full potential of alternative energies. I truly believe that the main concern of Bitcoin's energy consumption can be summarized in one's view of technological advancements. So if you either look at the glass half full or half empty, that will reflect on your purview of Bitcoin's future. If you're following the news concerning tech, you will see that many advancements have been made for cleaner and more sustainable greener energy. And one of the biggest forces that drives this environmental revolution forward is Bitcoin. So we shall see what they will do next. I think it's time for others to follow this path. What do you think? Did you come up with your own conclusion? Bitcoin is still on the hot seat when it comes to environmental topics. That's why the best thing to do now is to conduct our own research, take everything with a grain of salt, and be open-minded with all the news that's coming out. Well, that's all for now. This is Investment Tribe. See you again tomorrow. Keep in mind to like, share, and subscribe.